Hi guys, it's Millar here from Sonic Escape, and this is our guide to performing. Now today's subject is how to start composing a piece. I think it's something that can be a little bit scary if you've been studying how to play your instrument for years but never studying how to compose. And in my case, when I was at Juilliard, that's when I really started to experiment. And I made the conscious decision at that time to not pursue formal studies in it, because I'd already been formally studying the violin since I was 4, and I figured, I want to draw on what I learned studying the violin and my life experiences to inform what I write instead of trying to write in the style of some teacher. So I rely on inspiration, and specifically I rely on 3 points of inspiration. Now I call them inspirations because there's something that comes spontaneously, and there's something that I need to propel me from taking that really easy first idea that makes you really excited to going through all that hard work of finishing the composition of a piece. And I'm super slow at composing. So they had to be really, really good inspirations for me to be able to move forward with composing. Now, the first inspiration is a melody. And believe it or not, it's kind of cliche, but usually the melody comes to me when I'm showering or I'm doing the dishes, or most of the time when I'm trying to sleep and something annoys me or wakes me up and I can't sleep, and I go to the other room and I just start writing down an idea. Now the key is to write down that idea, because you forget it, especially if you have it in the middle of the night. When you wake up, it's gone. And the second key is to start developing it, because I have a whole folder of melody ideas that are just gathering dust and actually look pretty weird, because a year later, that melody might not even make sense. So I thought I would use a piece that I wrote called Fall from Four Seasons Rising to demonstrate my 3 points of inspiration. So melody-wise, I was sitting in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. I knew I wanted to write a piece. It was my first piece for violin with orchestra. And I wanted to write it inspired by Cape Breton fiddling. So I'm sitting there. I rented this house right on the ocean. So I'm looking at the ocean and the changing colors of the leaves because it's fall. And this melody came to mind. So that actually came pretty easily to me, which I can't say for any other bar of the whole piece that I wrote, but I probably tweaked it, because usually the first melody might even be a little bland, so I probably tweaked it to give it a bit more crunch, a bit more uniqueness, to make it something that stands on its own. But that melody, it got me excited, and I really needed that excitement because I was a bit nervous tackling my first piece for something larger than a trio, which is all I'd done up to that point. So second point of inspiration is a concept. Now, for Four Seasons Rising, I had a really strong and developed concept because I knew that if I'm going to write for orchestra, it's going to take me a long time, so I want to make it something memorable, something big. And so I decided to do something in the spirit of Vivaldi's Four Seasons. But in this case, I want it to be North American Four Seasons. And I called it Four Seasons Rising because I also wanted to address the whole issue of climate change. So I wanted to choose 4 different communities spread out across North America that have a really vibrant style of music and also a changing way of life because of climate change. So I chose Nova Scotia for fall because they have some kick-ass fiddling. It's incredible. And the sound and the sight of the fall foliage is kind of unparalleled in North America. All of that I knew would be an impetus to inspire me to write this great movement. So the third point of inspiration is a goal. And with this, you have to feel like you're doing something that's never been done before. So in this case, when I was writing this movement, which is just for violin with orchestra, I wanted to create something that was a hybrid of classical and fiddling styles, because I'm into both. And I've never seen it really done in a dramatic fashion on stage with orchestra. So I specifically wanted to take the whole approach of playing a slow movement that gets faster and then faster. So in this case, an air to a Strathspey to a reel. And I wanted to create my own that would help notch up the excitement as the movement progressed. So I took that air that you heard and I turned it into a Strathspey, which is what follows after a few minutes of the air being developed. So. There's a Strathspey, and then I take that theme and turn it into a reel. So towards the end of the piece, just to really pick it up and get people's feet tapping. So there it is, and it really got me excited, the idea of creating this really virtuosic piece that captures both fiddling and classical music, and that goal also gives a clarity to the line of the composition that I think helps other people relate to it as well. So there you have it, my three-pronged approach to using inspiration to start composing a piece. And I encourage any of you, if you can play an instrument or you can sing a song, you can write a piece, and just go for it. Come up with a melody, come up with a goal and a concept, and you're well on your way to facing that at first scary but then extremely fulfilling task of composing a piece. Okay, till next time.